Today we are at the Swindon Wheelers round one race at MOD Lynham. Now this was a great course. I think it's the first one that's been done, first race that's been done on this airfield. And we had a four-man team. We had myself, James, Chan and Tom. Now there is an elephant in the room in that Chan is not in club kit. So he's only recently just joined the team. And he does have a kit, but I don't think he really realised the importance of it. He hasn't really raced much over here at all. So I let him know that it's kind of not fair on other teams, because like if he's up the road, then tactically the other teams aren't going to be aware of him being there. And also if he goes up the road, we don't always know that he's up there. So he becomes hard to spot for us as well. So we did let him know that, and yeah, because it can be seen as like blatant cheating, even though this was totally innocent. He's like raced a lot in Hong Kong, and he's only recently moved over here. So yeah, we've given him a heads up not to do it again, because you can get a disqualification, I believe, if you're not in club kit in the races. So yeah, it was kind of innocently done, but yeah, we've given him a heads up to make sure he's in kit for the future. Anyway, the plan for today was to keep attacking in like throughout the race, so that we could see if we could get a break going, and failing that, if we got to the last lap, my job was to try and lead out Tom and Chan. So I wasn't actually, if it was going to go down to that point in the race, I wasn't going to be looking necessarily for points. My goal was to try and get Tom on a podium, and hopefully Chan in and around that area as well, because Tom has got a monstrous sprint. So that was kind of our plan for today. Now we are probably about a lap into the race or so. It's quite a big course, and Tom has kind of got away up the road with a few other riders, which was excellent. I was thinking to myself, I thought he had been like trying to sit in as much as he can in this race and save his energy for the sprint at the end. So when he was up the road, I was thinking to myself, oh, here he goes, because the lad can't sit still at the beginning of a race. He needs to get going. And I think he said he wasn't quite warmed up. So coming into this lap, I think he obviously just got himself warmed up, and was willing to go from the start. So he's up the road, and we're going through this area here of the course, and it's quite pretty actually. Well, I'd say pretty, it depends what your opinion of it is. But we're going through like this solar farm in the middle of the MOD site, and that was pretty cool actually. Different scenery, and it was a huge course. So we hadn't know when I'd done the course before. A lot of the time we didn't really know whether we were going to go left or right next, because it was so wide and so big that some of the straights you couldn't actually see the corners at the end of them. Now at this point in the race, a few minutes later, Tom has been reeled back in from with his group, and James has done a monstrous attack at the front. You can see him up there. So I'm thinking, brilliant, amazing work, because it's his first kind of racing as a team, so to speak. Cat 4s can be a little bit individual, and kind of just learning. So it's good to see him counter over the top of Tom. So I'm working my way up to the peloton so I can get on the front, maybe slow it down, or if anyone attempts to bridge over to him, I can sit on their wheel. But it looks like he's coming in, being brought back in pretty fast. So James is just there, we're overtaking him now, and I'm thinking, right, I need to probably counter James. Tom is on my wheel, so he gets to the front of the peloton. I go past James. I told him to stay there so he doesn't chase me down. Tom gets onto the front, as you can see, and basically just allows me to get a bigger gap. So yeah, one guy looks like he's trying to bridge over. Now at this point I'm coming down here, and I'm thinking to myself, where on earth am I about to go? Am I about to go left or right? Because this course was so wide, so big, and you can see in the camera that you can't really get a good you can't see the end of this straight. I'm just waiting for a plane to come down it, and Call of Duty style, so then I'm also getting attacked from the sky, you know. So luckily there's a guy with a red flag, and that kind of guides me around this corner, thankfully. So we come down here. It's kind of been a headwind straight down that last straight for me, and it was pretty tough going. So I'm coming into a tailwind now, And you can see, as we've come around that corner, the group have kind of caught up to me a little bit. They're kind of bridging over quite quickly now. And I was thinking in my head, I looked over, I think, oh, maybe I should sit up a little bit and see what happens. But they kind of looked like they were going pretty quick. So I jumped on the wheel and I looked behind and there was a gap. So I thought, oh, maybe this could be like a little breakaway attempt. So so I get on this guy's wheel here and I'm hoping that we can get going, but it doesn't last for long. You can see them in the rear view that they're kind of still putting in a really big effort to get over to us, and we end up getting caught pretty quickly, which was unfortunate because I was up for a breakaway.
Go Jones! Oh no.
So at that point there, an attack went, and I didn't realise Chan was in it because he wasn't in kit. So that's an example of why you need to wear kit. So I was like, go James, and to try and get him to chase it down, as I just previously done a pull not long ago. I'd go on the front not long ago. Then I was instantly like, oh no, don't do that, because Chan is up there. So, and then you can see Tom in the rear cam pouting it down as if he's about to chase him as well.
Tom! Hold back!
Tom, hold back. And yeah, maybe he was about to chase it down, or maybe he was getting himself onto the front to let Chan go. I wasn't quite sure, but I thought it was worth shouting out to him to let him know not to chase it down as well, because yeah, it was hard to recognise. And at that point there, Chan and this group of three had a really good gap coming around the corner, just on the left-hand side. And I was quite hopeful that they would get away because there's only three of them, so it's less people to battle with. And that meant if they got away, then I can kind of get involved in the sprint at the end with Tom a little bit more, rather than trying to lead out two of us. Well, two others. If there's just two of us going for the sprint, then we can make it work a little bit more in terms of getting more of us in the top 10. Now, I don't have it on video, but Chan got brought back in, and then Tom sets off another attack, another counter over the top, not long after Chan and his little group got brought back in. So he's going off, and the pace is picking up again, so I'm hoping that everyone's getting tired. I think this guy on my left, a few people start coming around and standing up, so I get ready to hop onto their wheel, because I think if Tom is up there in a breakaway and I get a free ride to him, then we can have two people in the breakaway, which would be amazing, which I don't think we've had yet. But as you can see in the rear view, Tom gets brought back and ends up back in the peloton. And now I'm in this little group here, and it's super swervy. Everyone's busy trying to look at if they've got a big enough gap to keep committing to this break. But I find it's always worth just trying to get working together straight away, rather than focusing on whether the peloton are on your wheel, because if you're busy doing this, then you're just giving all of them a chance, because it's just disorganised straight away. So I pull out of it because I feel like it's not going to happen. So save my energy early, get back into the peloton, because yeah, it was just pretty all over the place from the start. Now, 5 or 6 minutes later, another attack has gone up the road, a little break of maybe 3 or 4 riders again. And I had no idea which teams were in it, because there was a lot of Swindon Wheeler riders in this group as they were hosting the race. They had a big turnout, which was fantastic for them. So I was wondering if they had any riders in it. That guy on the right-hand side there's going up. So I kind of assumed they didn't have a rider in it. But yeah, I had no idea. So at this point, I asked Tom whether Swindon had anyone in the break, and he wasn't too sure either at this point. And by judging by it, I think there's 2 or 3 Swindon riders on the front of this peloton here, and they weren't really sticking much effort in by the feels of it. So we assumed that they had someone up there. So we decided that it's probably best to start working. One guy on the right goes, and that's kind of our cue to try and bring back the that little break that had got away, because we had no riders in it. So yeah, we start sticking in the efforts, trying to bring it back. I'm in like the draft there, but then I get onto Tom's wheel, and it's just trying to rotate to get them back to us. Now, as you can see on the left here, Chan goes on like a solo bridge effort to try and get over. But yeah, this was quite a tough bit here, because we'd have had to stick in a really big effort to do so, because it was kind of like a slight hill with a horrible crosswind. So doing that on your own was a tough effort.
Get in, recover, come on.
So I thought Chan there must have been really feeling it, because he did a huge attack, and he was probably off the front for about a minute in that wind, in that hill. So yeah, I just like get in, recover, because I knew we didn't really have too much longer in the race left, because of the laps were so big. I think we probably only had about a lap to go. So yeah, he just needed to get into the wheels now, because our plan was about to start switching to the lead out versus the big attacks. So we're into the last lap here, and the guy on the right picks up. We've only just started the lap, and it's the first attack on the last lap to go. And he's probably got a good 5 or 6 minutes to try and make that stick. And I know round the corner up here he's going to go flying into the headwind and like the long drag. Well, headwind and maybe crosswind. And I know he's got his work cut out. So I'm not too worried about it at this point. But I'm thinking if anyone else tries to go over to him, it's going to be time to get on it. The guys on the left start picking it up. That guy goes. And James is already on that side. So that's great, because we've kind of got this move covered. So I come on to these guys' wheels here, but I didn't think James wanted anything of it, apparently, because he goes to his right. So yeah, so I stay on this guy's wheel, and I'm wondering, like, what's James doing? Why is he not over on this side? So yeah, he gets a bit stuck out in the wind there. Maybe he's a bit tired, I don't know. But I was kind of shouting at him to like try and get in front of my wheel so he can get recovered. But as I was shouting out to do so, these guys were coming in between us, so he couldn't quite get on it. But then I managed to let him in here. So at this point, I'm ready to start picking it up, because it's half a lap to go, and I see the attacks are off. So I shouted out, "Are you there, Tom?" Just to see if he is on my wheel, so that I can start really sticking in the effort in. But I didn't get a response. So I was a bit like, what should I do? Shall I try and work my way up, or just wait for him to get on my wheel or not? And then Mike Cripps goes on the left from the army, and James is on that wheel. So I was like, okay, that's great. That gives me a bit of chance to, for Tom to try and get up to me. But then guy from the army is gone. He's unleashed quite a big attack there, and he's on his way. So I'm thinking, right, I really need to get to work. James is just by the front there, and I'm thinking I need to pull this back, because otherwise there's 3 or 4 people up the road who have just got first, second, third and fourth, and I wasn't too bothered about racing for the top 10. I mean, it would be nice, but I really just wanted to get 1 or 2 of us on the podium, so I couldn't afford to let little attacks like that go off. So I elbowed this guy through to help me, and the chase was on. So at this point, we're coming into about a minute and a half left of the race, and I've tried to find out if Tom's on my wheel, and thankfully he is. So I'm pretty happy with that. He's thereabouts, and it's just my goal now is just to try and get as far up the peloton as I safely can, to deliver him for like a good position for the sprint. So we're picking up down here. Army Mike is on the left, coming into a bit of a pinch point here, so I had to kind of ease off, because I didn't want to end up clipping him or anything around the corner as we were all getting squeezed in. And I lost quite a few positions there, and that was super frustrating. So Tom's still behind me, but I'm having to put in a really big effort just to get back up to where I was. That guy on there on the left is going, so I'm thinking, right, I sit on this guy's wheel, pray that Tom's still there. Swindon Wheelers comes round me, and it is absolutely going off right now in this part, and I'm blowing myself up. I was conscious not to let myself go into like the pack, because I didn't want Tom to lose my wheel. So I'm coming up here and I could barely pull, and it's become a bit of a struggle because I've been out in the wind for so long, and I just did an effort trying to close that gap, but I couldn't quite close it.
Go, Tom!
So because I couldn't close it and get to that corner before the guys in front of me, I just had to tell him to go, because I couldn't get him to go early enough. So Chan comes around me as well, and I'm like, fantastic. They're both up there. They've managed to get around me, and they're both fighting it out now to the finish line. So coming around here, they're going for it. You can't see them finish, unfortunately, but Tom got fourth, couple of milliseconds off first, second and third. Really frustrating. Very close for the podium. Chan got 8th, so he managed to get 2 people in the top 10. So my work was done. James had a fantastic race with like working as a team for the first time, countering and everything like that. So yeah, it was good all round. Anyway, if you're enjoying these videos and this race content, feel free to subscribe and give us a follow on Instagram and Strava as well. And I'll have some more videos coming up in the next couple of days. Take care, guys, and yeah, enjoy all the bank holidays.